Warm greetings to everyone. Welcome to the 25th anniversary celebration of the International Cooperative Alliance Asia and Pacific Committee on Women. I am Simran Singh, the Secretary of the committee, and I will be the moderator for this session. So you will be seeing me for quite some time till evening. Before we begin, I would like to share some housekeeping information. In this session, please keep your phones on silent and feel free to take pictures from your phone of the screen of the presenters and me if you like. Thank you very much in advance for your cooperation. Established in 1998, the ICA Asia and Pacific Women's Committee has been promoting gender inclusion and equality in cooperatives in the Asia-Pacific region for the past 25 years. It is a significant milestone for our committee, and we are very honored and grateful that we are today joined by our committee members, upcoming women leaders in the cooperative sector from different countries, ICA Asia and Pacific Regional Director, ICA Asia and Pacific staff who may be present online, ICA members and cooperators from Japan, supporters and well-wishers of the Women's Committee, advocates of gender equality from international organizations such as the UN Women, and public officials from the Government of Japan to celebrate this milestone event together. Some of our delegates have joined online and they are watching us live now. Thank you very much for your presence and participation today. To commemorate the opening of our event, I would now like to invite Mr. Tos Arai, the chairperson of the ICA Asia and Pacific Committee on Women. Ms. Arai serves as the Vice President of the Japanese Consumers Cooperative Union, JCCU, and board member of the ICA Asia and Pacific. Please give her a round of applause.
Very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chitose Arai, Vice President of the Japanese Consumers Cooperative Union, and I am serving as the chair of the ICA-AP Committee on Women. I thank you very much for attending this anniversary ceremony following the special keynote lecture in the morning. It is such a great pleasure for me to be able to join with so many of you on this historic occasion of the 25th anniversary. Now, taking this opportunity, I would like to thank Mr. Balu Aya, the regional director, for the attendance. He has been attending since the morning. He has always guided and advised as well the committee, a very powerful supporter of the Women's Committee. Also, I would like to acknowledge Ms. Simran Singh, a member of the Secretariat. She is serving as a moderator here on the podium. She is indeed a friend and a good colleague of us and supports the committee, including the preparation for this anniversary event. So thank you very much. Now, in the morning, Ms. Ishikawa from the UN Women's Japan office spoke about the current situation and efforts regarding the gender equality and women's empowerment in the world and here in Asia Pacific. As she said, this year, 2023, marks the halfway point of the Sustainable Developmental Goals, which are set to end in 2030. And having listened to her, I realized once again that SDG 5 is essential for overcoming different challenges. We should have a perspective on not just young women, but think about the whole life of women. And we also learned that youth as leaders of discussion can cause innovation. He for she is another phrase that I have learned. And let us jump together at the same time. It was truly a very inspirational and encouraging message for all the cooperators. Now, From now on, in the second half of the celebration program, in order to connect the past, present, and the future, we would look back the history and past achievements of the Women's Committee, learn from efforts to promote gender equality in cooperatives, and consider the direction of the committee and new priority areas to be addressed over the next 25 years. The Committee on Women was established with a desire to make visible the important role women have played in the cooperative movement and the contribution to the development of cooperatives. Since its establishment in 1998, the Women's Committee has been working to promote gender equality in cooperatives and the participation of women at all levels of cooperatives. We have discussed the challenges and necessary actions faced by women cooperators. We have made recommendations for the establishment of gender-sensitive laws and policies and provided capacity building and networking opportunities for women's participation and also conducted leadership development in cooperatives. Speaking about myself, I attended my first Women's Committee meeting in 2014. Then I had the opportunity to talk to committee members about the naming of the Committee on Gender and Women. As it is called the Gender Equality Committee at the ICA global level, whereas in the Asia-Pacific region, it is called the Women's Committee. So I raised this issue, and I thought that it would be a more open committee in the Asia-Pacific region if the committee was also called the Gender Equality Committee. However, some members of the committee said that if we use the word Gender Equality Committee, it may lead to the situation that some cooperatives or some countries would only nominate male representatives to such committees. And at that time, I have learned that we realize that women still face many, many challenges in many countries in the Asia-Pacific region. I have also strongly felt the significance of the Women's Committee in this region and the importance of focusing on the very needs of women. Even now, I still bear that in mind, and I still remember how I felt. I would like to work to further deepen communication with the committee members, master our collective wisdom, and consider actions to solve problems. Over this past quarter of a century, 25 years, the environment surrounding women has changed dramatically. And the political, social, economic, and environmental rapid changes have brought about some welcome good advances for women. However, women still face new challenges such as conflict, terrorism, infectious disease, climate change, and natural disasters, to just name the few. To respond to these changes in the environment and new challenges, we feel that we need to further enhance our promotion of gender equality, both top-down and bottom-up, while strengthening cooperation with various organizations. In 2021, we had the regional forum, and we have talked about the impact of violence against women and try to bring in non-violence and peace into the identity statement of the cooperatives. The first is that peace and non-violence should be recognized as an important value of cooperatives. The second, and for cooperatives and the rights of staff, we believe that peaceful environment is so very important. It is essential. The third is that violence and harassment must be done away. The workshop must be free of violence and harassment, and that cooperatives must clearly show the direction and policies for this, for the independence and women to be more active. We must overcome these challenges. So we would like to think what cooperatives can do. So we believe that we have to discuss how the identity should be rephrased or reviewed so that it really clearly matches the needs of the day. And for that exercise, we would like to work and discuss together. Now, in 2018, in the General Assembly of the JCCU, we have put together a declaration. And towards the goal of promoting gender equality and creating an inclusive society, we set up a COPE action plan for the SDGs. And we contribute to the realization of gender equality in society and society in which diverse people can live together through activities in local communities. We are endeavoring to realize such a society in which women and men can continue to work energetically and with a sense of fulfillment through our activities in the local community. As a matter of fact, most of the members in Japanese COPs are women, but the ratio of women among working staff is less than 30% as of 2023. And we are facing challenges such as retaining female staff and increasing the ratio of women in the management positions. As a Japanese corporation, we would like to take this commemorative event as an opportunity to further broaden our perspective and deepen our understanding and further promote gender equality while deepening our communication and exchange with you. Now, as the Women's Committee celebrates the 25th anniversary today, we have invited the past officers and the other relevant parties to contribute to the special booklet. We are appreciating the efforts of the past office bearers and the cooperators who work so hard to promote the activities of the Women's Committee. This is a very special booklet that covers all the past achievements of our committee. It is in your package, and I have such a pleasure in launching or unveiling this special booklet. If you go through the pages, you will find out what we have done in the past and what the committees have done in terms of supporting the legislation and the good governance. And also we have congratulatory messages from the members, and we talked about what predecessors have worked. And for the participants in this hall, the booklet is in your conference pack, so I hope that upon your return you will have time to read it. For those online participants, this will be emailed to you, so you'll be receiving the electronic version of this booklet. We would like to work together, learn together, interact, and I'm sure through that we can build a stronger partnership and create a brighter future for the ICA-AP Women's Committee. As we face new challenges in the next 25 years, let us work together to realize gender equality in the Asia-Pacific region. Thank you very much. So, I would like to run the video that was put together to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the committee.
In the long history of the cooperative movement, women have played an important role in shaping the movement. Since its inception in 1960, the ICA Asia and Pacific Regional Office had recognized the role of women in cooperatives and conducted research on the status of women and various activities to promote women's participation and empowerment. However, it was in the 1990s that full-scale activities began to take off. In the early 1990s, women cooperators in the region, with the help of the Swedish Cooperative Center, began building a network of women. The ICA-AP conducted its first fact-finding survey on gender integration in cooperatives in 14 countries, highlighting the need for appropriate gender policies. In 1995, the Fourth World Conference on Women was held in Beijing, raising momentum for gender equality globally. Ms. Akiko Yamauchi served as the gender program advisor at the ICA-AP during this period.
女性委員会設立前の背景として押さえておくべき点は次の3点です。1点目は1975年メキシコで開催された第1回世界女性会議に始まった女性への差別解消を進め、あらゆる場面での女性の参画を高めていこうという世界的な流れです。アジアでは95年に北京女性会議が開催されることを目前にしてさまざまな取り組みが進みつつありました。ICA がアジア地域でも女性の参画に関する調査を行ったこと、その後の課題整理から行動計画づくりにつながる大きな流れの背景は、世界的なうねりの影響を受けたことであったと言えると思います。日本の協同組合では92年アジア初の ICA 世界大会開催を控え、国内の協同組合全体で世界の皆さんを歓迎する準備を行っていました。私は女性委員会を歓迎する側として農協や漁協の皆さんと準備を進め、この中で農協では女性が組合員になりづらい、またいずれの協同組合でも意思決定の女性参画が遅れていることが明らかになってきていました。2点目は日本の政協での女性参加を高める動きです。日本政協連では91年に会長の諮問機関として日本政協連女性評議会が設置され、政協の意思決定の場における女性の参画の現状と今後の方向について2年間討議を深め、答申がまとめられました。私はこの評議会の事務局として国内の調査や論議に関わりました。つまり日本の政協の課題としても解決すべき男女共同参画課題が認識され、取り組みが進みつつあったということです。3点目は日本の政協に対する世界の協同組合からのアジア協力への要請です。80年代共同購入を中心とした日本の政協の大きな発展は世界の注目するところともなり、従来欧米の協同組合が担っていたアジアにおける協同組合支援の取り組みに対し、日本がしっかり支えるべき時代に来ているとの認識から、日本の政協による財政人的支援の期待が大きくなっていました。これを受けて日本政協連は93年からジェンダー活動への財政支援を始めました。93年には東京で行動策定会議の開催を支え、その後94年から私自身が ICA のアジア太平洋地域事務局へ派遣され、ジェンダー活動を進めることとなりました。私はインドの ICA 事務所赴任の後、92年のコロンボ会議、93年の東京での行動計画策定会議で得た女性リーダーたちとのネットワークを基礎に、後に女性委員会の委員長となるマレーシアのラハイや、取り組みの理論的支えを与えてくれた AWCF アジア女性協同組合フォーラムのロタやサリー、フィリピン協同組合全国連合会のテレなどと論議を重ねました。そして ICA の機関会議である地域総会で女性委員会の設置を提案し、その後各国の協同組合関係大臣が参加する閣僚会議でジェンダー問題への取り組みが急がれることを発言。さらに97年のフィリピン多外体で100名以上の参加者とともに女性の参画を高めるための戦略を練り上げ、98年の女性委員会発足へつなげていきました。
In October 1998, during the ICA-AP Regional Assembly in Seoul, the memorable first ICA-AP Women's Committee meeting was held with about 30 members in attendance. The meeting identified the need to promote networking and leadership training for women. At the turn of the 21st century, the committee developed training manuals and actively organized leadership training and networking programs. Ms. Savitri Singh made a significant contribution to developing the committee's work as the secretary of the committee.
As you all know, that the committee was constituted in 1998. I joined ICA-AP office in 2002. By that time, the committee was in infant stage. With the generous support of JCCU and the colleagues from JCCU, we worked together very hard to take forward the mandate of the committee, and we worked with various countries in the region to bring women together. For this, we introduced various programs and created various documents. We developed 2 training manuals, introduced training of trainer programs, entrepreneurship development programs, workshops, conferences, and women forums. Besides, we also took forward the mandate of the committee to be included in the deliberations of the ministerial conference and got the resolutions passed. For the very first time in the history of ICA-AP, the Women Committee initiated sex desegregated data collection in 2005. And we came to know that roughly 30% women are there as members in the region, and very few at the leadership or at the managerial level. At that time, women were not much seen and heard in the cooperatives. Very few women used to attend the regional assemblies of the ICA-AP. Very few women were there as the chairpersons or executive of the ICA member cooperatives. Gradually, due to our programs, we started seeing differences. We started seeing women coming up. There were examples that the members of our committee became leaders at their country level and also internationally. So this was the tremendous impact of the work of the Women Committee on gender equality and women empowerment in the region. I also got the opportunity to represent the ICA-AP Committee on Women to the side events of the United Nations twice. We also interacted with and collaborated with other regions to bring more knowledge and experience for the benefit of the women in the committee.
The committee had steadily expanded its work, but women cooperators were still facing many challenges. At the Tagatai Plus 20 conference in 2016, the committee identified what to tackle, including women's capacity building, cooperation with governments and international organizations, appropriate gender balance in cooperatives, and gender-sensitive legislation and policies. Dr. Nandini Azad, as the chairperson of the committee, emphasized women's roles in cooperatives and called for actions toward gender mainstreaming and equality on various occasions.
The Asia-Pacific Women's Committee undertook a regional status study on women in cooperatives to assess the situation in the Asia-Pacific region called Gender is More Than a Statistic on Gender Desegregated Data, a study. The study findings were presented at the Asia-Pacific Cooperative Ministers Conference, APCMC, by me as chair of the study committee who undertook the study. The APMC adopted 30 to 50% representation of women in committees and bodies, councils, and all other higher cooperative structures. The key findings of the study was, while women's representation in cooperatives at higher echelons was not significant at the decision-making levels, the new trends, decisions, issues indicate new thresholds of change for women. The ratio of women chairpersons increased from 7% in 2005 to 10% in 2016. the ratio of women vice chairpersons increased from 18% in 2005 to 23% in 2016. The salient recommendations, amongst others, was gender integration in cooperatives, that is, the following of the Gender Equality Committee, the Women's Empowerment Committee, increasing the membership of women in cooperatives, gender disaggregated data studies, tracking equality indicators such as women's participation in governance, management, and membership, etc. The quest towards achieving gender equality in decision making in cooperatives began within the ICA-AP Committee and ourselves. This was the ICA-AP's first attempt to analyze women CEOs in the region and explore their journey to the top job. To contemplate why they are almost invisible, challenges, opportunities, and solutions, we reached out to women CEOs in the region and the network, Asia-Pacific Network. The objectives were to create awareness on the status of women in leadership positions in cooperatives and also the need to promote gender equality in decision making, reflecting on the legal policy environment and cooperative governance practices in Asia and Pacific region, identify gaps on how it impacts gender equality at the decision making level, formulate concrete action points, guidelines for cooperatives to adopt to achieve gender equality. Conscious human resource development planning, HR planning, resulting into equal opportunity for women to get at the position of CEO. Formulate an action plan for ICA-AP to support, monitor, and evaluate progress in gender equality. A regional webinar was held on the impact of COVID-19 on women cooperators in the Asia and Pacific. And we held this in 2020. The discussions during the webinar showed that COVID-19 severely affected women in all the sectors. Members discussed the economic and non-impact impact of COVID on women both in the formal and in the informal sectors of countries. Members discussed the actions and wanted to find ways that the cooperatives could support women, their cooperative business and communities. The other webinar which we held in Chennai at the Indian Cooperative Network for Women was very useful and very much appreciated by Madam Chitto-san and the JCCU team and the ICA-AP. This was on training of trainers program on digital financial inclusion of women cooperators at the grassroots, organized for 3 days in September 2020 by WWF and ICNW. The objective of the TOT was to build technical skills of women members of primary savings and credit societies. The TOT not only helped in building the technical capacities of women, but also instilling confidence in them to use digital banking during future uncertainty and emerging. This would ensure that they could continue with the business without being dependent on others and have timely access to hard-earned credit.
The committee has been working step by step to drive positive changes for women in cooperatives for 25 years. However, there is still a long way to go to achieve full gender equality. It is now to accelerate our efforts to make it happen.
アジア太平洋地域におけるジェンダー平等の促進、また ICA-AP 女性委員会の発展にご尽力くださったすべての方々に心より感謝申し上げます。女性委員会が設立されたことで、女性たちが集い、交流の中でお互いの経験を共有し、話し合うことで共感が生まれ、明日への希望につながってきたこと、そして女性が自分の能力を存分に発揮できるよう、教育訓練の機会を提供し、女性の参画、地位向上を促進してきたことは、この25年の大きな成果だと思います。しかし、協同組合におけるジェンダー平等と女性のエンパワーメントの実現には、未だに多くの課題が残されています。女性を取り巻く情勢は大きく変わり、新たな課題やニーズも生じてきています。ICA-AP の良き伝統を継承しつつも、社会情勢を鑑みながら、アジア太平洋地域の協同組合の女性たちの声に耳を傾けて活動に反映させていきたいと思います。今年度2023年からは、経済的エンパワーメント、社会的エンパワーメント、知識、教育、研修、連帯を柱とした 新しいジェンダー平等戦略に基づき活動を展開していく予定です。一人一人の力は小さくとも私たちが手を取り合って協力すること、それが大きな力となり社会を変えることができると信じています。アジア太平洋地域の協同組合の女性たちの命と暮らしと尊厳が保障され、生き生きと自分らしく歩めるようサポートができる持続可能な組織づくりに力を尽くしてまいります。
Wow, that was a very, very informative as well as an emotional trip to our history and evolution. Thank you very much to the JCCU team for taking us back to this wonderful memory lane. The Women's Committee has come a long way, and we are very proud to witness and fortunate to be part of its journey. As we proceed further, we are delighted to share with you that we have received warm wishes from many of our well-wishers and supporters from around the world. Some of these messages are included in the 25th anniversary booklet and the program handbook that you may find in your bags. Now, we present to you special greetings and congratulatory message from the ICA Asia and Pacific President, Dr. Chandrapal Singh Yadav. Unfortunately, Dr. Yadav could not be present with us today in person and has shared a video message which we will play now.
Dear Mrs. Chetose Arai, Mrs. Preeti Patel, members of the Women's Committee, the JCCU and guests, cooperative greetings. I am filled with immense pride that the Regional Committee on Women has completed 25 years in the Asia and Pacific region. On this special occasion, warmest congratulations to everyone who has been part of committee in its 25-year journey. I am very proud of the work done by the Women's Committee and the role you play in representing the voice of women cooperators at ICA-AP level. I very much appreciate the approach that the committee has followed through the year in identifying topics and issues where interventions and required the include advocating for data on gender in cooperatives, developing training manuals on women's leadership, making recommendations for reservation for women at board and senior management in cooperatives at the Asia Pacific Minister Conferences, making visible the role played by women cooperators during COVID-19, advocating for peace and non-violence at important values, and now looking at climate change as a priority area for educating and training women cooperators. Your committee, in an inspiration for many in the region and the world. I wish you all a successful celebration and best wishes for your future endeavors. Thank you.
We are very grateful to Dr. Chandrapal Singh Yadav for his encouragement and support to our Women's Committee. Today, we have amongst us a very special guest. I am honored to welcome Mr. Masanobu Ogura, who until last week was the Minister in charge of the Women's Empowerment and the Minister of State for Gender Equality in Japan. Thank you very much, Mr. Ogura, for taking time out from your busy schedule and joining our humble gathering. I would like to cordially request and invite him for his special address.
皆さんこんにちは。
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your kind introduction. I have been the Minister of State up until last year for gender equality and women's engagement. I'm pleased to welcome you today for the 25th anniversary of ICA Women's Committee. I would also like to express my utmost respect for the efforts of all those involved in organizing this ceremony. Ms. Kato has assumed my previous post, so she could not come today, but I take responsibility in conveying this committee's ideas to the government. I would like to reiterate that the realization of a gender-equal society and the promotion of women's activities are global issues, and that it is important to learn from each other, share knowledge, and work together to advance these issues. In June this year, G7 Ministerial Meeting on Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment was held in Nikko, Tochigi Prefecture under the G7 chairmanship of Japan. This is the first G7 ministerial meeting on gender equality and women's advancement held in Japan. The main theme of the meeting was women's economic independence in the post-COVID period, and participants brought their knowledge from various countries to the meeting for discussion. The Nikko statement, the outcome of the meeting, states that the structural issues that hinder women's economic independence are complex and intertwined, and that it is important to promote comprehensive and multifaceted efforts to address these issues. In Japan, based on the Basic Policy for Women, which was compiled in June this year, we are addressing the issues that women face one by one, such as increasing the ratio of female executives, fostering female digitally skilled human resources, promoting reskilling for women, and supporting free of charge care and equal sharing of domestic work, and encouraging male employees to take childcare leave. We are working on each and every issue that we women face. I believe the discussions at the G7 meeting, as well as Japan's views and initiatives on gender equality and women's advancement, were well understood by the international community when I made presentations at the G20 Ministerial Conference on Women Empowerment held in Gandhinagar, India last month, and the APEC Women's and Economy Forum held in Seattle, Washington, USA. I am aware that ICA-AP's Women's Committee was established in 1998 in Seoul, Korea, and has been making various efforts for a quarter of a century to enhance the role of women through international cooperation. In promoting, earlier I enjoyed watching the video of your committee's work. In promoting women's engagement and gender equality, it is essential to not only promote the government policies, but also it requires efforts of the private sector and civil society, including cooperatives. I'd like to ask for further cooperation and collaboration with all the participants and organizers of today's program. In conclusion, I would like to offer my best wishes for the continued development of the ICA-AP Women's Committee and the success of all the participants today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Masanobu Ogura, for your warm wishes and endearing message. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, Mr. Ogura has to leave now for his other official duties. I request our delegates to please give him a round of applause to convey our special thanks. Thank you very much. The Women's Committee is grateful for its long-standing association with the Cooperatives Unit of the International Labour Organization, or the ILO. Our association with the ILO Co-op dates back to 1997. The ICA Asia and Pacific Regional Office and the Asian Women in Development Forum held a conference in Tagaytay, Philippines in May 1997 focusing on the capacity building of women in cooperatives for their leadership development. This event led to an effective collaboration between the ICA, Asia and Pacific Regional Office, and ILO CoopNet to develop a trainer's training manual for leadership development of women in cooperatives. The manual was jointly developed in 2001 and was subsequently used to conduct many training of trainers programs at regional and country levels. Over the past 25 years, the ILO and its cooperatives unit, former staff members, and Ms. Simel SM, the present head of the ILO Co-op in Geneva, has offered us valuable support and collaborated with us on multiple occasions. We are truly grateful for their cooperation and partnership. Unfortunately, Ms. Simel SM could not be present today due to her busy schedule. However, she has sent her warm greetings from far away. I will now read her message on her behalf. Dear friends in the ICA Asia and Pacific Committee on Women, warm greetings from the ILO's Cooperatives Unit in Geneva. I would like to extend my congratulations to you for having completed 25 years of service in the Asia and Pacific region. The ILO, the UN agency responsible for social justice and decent work, is the only part of the UN system with an explicit mandate on cooperatives. It has had a cooperatives unit since 1920, and cooperatives are mentioned in the ILO Constitution. And the international cooperative movement has a general consultative status within the ILO since then. Although circumstances may vary according to context, within the cooperative movement there is a growing interest on gender issues, greater recognition of the value of women in leadership roles, and an increase in the number of cooperatives that are led by women. Cooperatives can offer multiple benefits in terms of providing affordable and accessible services for women in housing, finance, and a range of care services. Women can advance their situation by negotiating with public authorities through cooperatives. The democratic and participatory governance of cooperatives allows women the opportunity to engage in decision making and power sharing. Women who are engaged in cooperatives may be better positioned to address personal and communal needs such as freedom from discrimination, violence, and harassment. Moreover, cooperatives established by and for women help overcome social and cultural constraints which might otherwise limit women's participation in the workforce. Although cooperatives may be based on values of equality and equity, they may be constrained by legal provisions, social norms, and historical inequalities. Women are often disadvantaged in terms of assets, education, and training, which can impede their access to the resources and markets needed to establish, expand, or sustain an organization. Even when women participate in cooperatives on an equal footing to men, they may find it difficult to participate in decision-making bodies or to accede to leadership positions, as prevailing horizontal and vertical gender divisions of labor are often reproduced. Women are also generally less connected to vertical cooperative structures and other support structures than men are. In mobilizing cooperatives to further gender equality, two areas of focus emerge: the strengthened participation of women in cooperatives, including leadership positions, and the development of cooperatives in undervalued economic sectors or professions with a stronger participation of women, for example, in the care economy. Cooperatives offer observable benefits in respect of achieving gender equality. Transitional measures such as affirmative action can be used to correct inequalities which benefits beyond the enterprise level, reaching into the home, community, and public spheres. Participatory gender auditing or gender responsive budgeting could be among other methods used by the social and solidarity economy. Governments can support women's empowerment in cooperatives by providing capacity building programs for women, including in an organizational leadership, management, financial planning, and marketing. Social policies that ease the care burden and strengthen women's civil and political rights can facilitate their participation in the policy process. With our best wishes to you in your important work in advancing equality, diversity, and non-discrimination in the Asia and Pacific region, yours sincerely, Simil SM, Head ILO Corp. Thank you very much. The Women's Committee is very fortunate to have received support and cooperation from dynamic women cooperators who have represented the ICA members in Asia and Pacific region and served as its office bearers. I would now like to invite Ms. Junko Ito, the former Vice Chairperson of the Women's Committee from 2001 to 2007. Ms. Ito has traveled from Kobe to Tokyo to be present with us today and share with us her special thoughts and memories of the committee. I now invite her to the stage for her address.
Thank you for your introduction. Hello, everyone. I am Junko Ito. And congratulations on the 25th anniversary of the ICA-AP Women's Committee. And thank you for inviting me to your 25th anniversary ceremony today. I've been looking forward to meeting the participants from overseas and all over Japan in person. It was 2001 that I became a member of this committee. And so it has been more than 20 years since then. But now I still remember two things clearly. Let me briefly share two memories during my tenure. First of all, around the year 2000, Japan had several issues with food safety. I thought it serious, and co-ops across Japan also thought it necessary to solve the problem and started to work on it. In this situation, I thought other countries must also have the same problem, just like Japan. However, after listening to the participant, listening to what the participant said at the meeting, I realized that I'd been wrong. From this, I learned that the problems differ depending on the economic and social situation of each country. And next, I was surprised by the positive attitude of conference participants. They were really active and frankly exchanging their opinion with each other. And their powerful energy was so expressive and encouraged me. I've told two things. I feel now that this experience was a great gift to me. Well, all of you have followed in the footsteps of your senior and made steady progress. I believe that this atmosphere will be passed down as the tradition of the ICA-AP Women's Committee. I believe so. And finally, I'd like to express my respect to everyone who has worked hard for this committee. That's all for my speech. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Ito, for your kind words and heartening message. I take this opportunity to welcome a supporter of our committee at the time of its establishment and other former office bearers from Japan who are present with us here today. When I call your name, if possible, I request you to please stand and look behind for the participants on Zoom to see you. Ms. Momo Tatsukawa, the supporter of the committee at the time of its establishment. Okay. Can you please look behind? Ms. Hatsuka Omori, former vice chairperson. Ms. Hitomi Tanaka, former chairperson. Ms. Masako Shinbo, former chairperson. Thank you so much for joining us today. We extend our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to all the chairpersons, vice chairpersons, and secretaries whose leadership and vision have brought many laurels to the committee and have contributed to its success and memorable journey. Chairpersons from 1998 to 2023, Ms. Rahira Bahrain, Malaysia, Ms. Hitomi Tanaka, Japan, Ms. Masaka Shimbo, Japan, Dr. Nandini Azad, India, Ms. Chitos Arai, Japan. Vice Chairpersons from 1998 to 2023, Ms. Hatsuka Omori, Japan, Ms. Rameshwari Ramachandran, Singapore, Ms. Prima Shanti Suryachi, Sri Lanka, Ms. Jinko Ito, Japan, Ms. Go Ming Hua, Singapore, Ms. Eva Naiva, Philippines, Ms. Kruen Konlanai, Philippines, Ms. Divina Kabunek Kume, Philippines, Ms. Maria Elena Kanda Limicon, Philippines, Ms. Preeti Patel, India. Secretaries, Ms. Savitri Singh, India, Ms. Anam Mitra, India, Mr. Mohit Dave, Interim, India, and of course the JCCU staff who have always supported the committee, Ms. Akiko Yamauchi, Ms. Yukiko Yamamoto, Ms. Shegiza Ozawa, and Mr. Jiro Ito, and all other JCCU staff members who have always assisted the office bearers from Japan in the past and continue to do so even now. Thank you very much once again to everyone for your valuable contribution to the committee. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you had a refreshing break. Okay. In this session, Gender Equality for a Brighter Future, Reflections for Our Future Action, we present to you 6 thematic presentations by our committee members. This session, as you may see in the program, is categorized in 2 parts: good practices and reflections on the future. After part 2, we will have an open forum to reflect on the presentations and course of action for the next 25 years. Without much ado, I now invite Dr. Ah-Young Kim, Director-in-Chief at ICA-AP Cooperative Institute, Korea. ICA-AP is headed by a woman chairperson and has majority of its members and employees as women. Dr. Kim's presentation title is Women Driving Cooperative Development.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to speak at the 25th anniversary celebration of the ICA-AP Committee on Women. Today, I would like to share the case from Korea on women driving cooperative development. My name is Ayeong Kim. I'm a director of ICA-AP Cooperative Institute. First of all, congratulations on our 25th anniversary. I would like to share this joy with all of you here on site and online. I remember our committee 20th anniversary brochure published in 2018. The milestones were especially impressive, just as someone's first step before 25 years ago led to today. So I'm confident that our step will create the next 20 years our community. So I would like to talk about the following. First, I will speak about women and cooperative in Korea. Second, I will look at the Korean consumer cooperatives. Third, I'll explain the women who are active in ICA-AP. Finally, I will share my thoughts on women driving cooperative development. First, let's look at the women and cooperatives in Korea. In Korea, you can find cooperatives in many different sectors. There are cooperatives in wholesale and retail, education, agriculture, forestry, manufacturing, and so on. And there are many women involved in these cooperatives. The picture on the left side is a meeting of women members of Korean agriculture cooperatives. The Korean agriculture cooperatives named by Nonghyup participates in ICA-AP and serve as ICA Global Board member. The photo on the center is a leadership training workshop for women members of Korean fisheries cooperatives. The Korean fisheries cooperative, named by Suhyup, served as ICA Fisheries Cooperative Committee chairperson. So the Korean National Federation of Fisheries Cooperatives served as a chairperson of ICA Fisheries Cooperatives Committee. Third picture shows that the gender ratio in cooperatives established under the Korean framework law cooperatives. Women members are slightly more involved than men. As we've seen, there are many women involved in cooperatives in Korea. However, in some sectors, cooperatives have a very low percentage of high-level women. This shows that while women's participation is important in terms of quantity, it is also important in terms of quality. And on the one hand, Korean consumer cooperatives have different characteristics cooperatives in other sectors. Korean consumer cooperatives have a high level of women's participation, not only in quantity, but also in quality. About 6 or 5% of the total population participates in Korean consumer cooperatives, mostly women. The photo on the left side, primary consumer cooperatives is making a donation to flood affected the community. And center photo is Korean consumer cooperative members attending in 2021 ICA Congress in Seoul. And third picture is a meeting of Korean consumer cooperative members and producers. Korea consumer cooperatives can help members grow by educating and empowering members. And next, let's take a look at the women's engagement in ICA-AP. With the slogan, healing for people, cooling for the planet, ICA-AP involved in various social movements and business. In 2022, it has 320,000 members nationwide and 189 partner organizations. It has 3,900 employees and business volume of about $469 million. Many women are also involved in ICA-AP. First, ICA-AP has many women members. They are involved in volunteer activities. In particular, the leaders of the members, based on their experience in ICA-AP, become leaders in different areas of society beyond the cooperatives. They work in government and become politicians, and they are active in the social economy and civil society movements, learning business and engaging in research. These women are contributors to the social environment friendly to cooperatives, by extension to a sustainable society. Second, ICA-AP has many women employees. Globally, the gender gap is an important issue, especially in the workplace, that we need to address together. ICA-AP is building a model of the company where there is no gender gap. Left side, picture shows the employment by gender in Korea. Red line, the number of employed women. It is very slightly increased, but it is still different. The number of employed men. And right side in ICA-AP, employment by gender and average gender wage gap. Female is slightly more than men, and then average gender wage gap. ICA-AP is the half of Korean average. But we have some challenges, and increasing the number of women is important, but we must also empower women in positions of influence to actively participate. ICA-AP works to build gender equality best practice. And third, there are women producers in the ICA-AP. Especially recently, women entrepreneurs have made progress. They are developing business based on their experience in ICA-AP as members and employees, and creating partnership as producers in consumer cooperatives. Although this is not yet quantitative high percent, but it is important. So in order to promote the growth of women entrepreneurs, ICA-AP acts as a safety net. This is the last topic of my presentation. I shared the story of Korean and ICA-AP on women driving cooperative development. I think developing cooperatives by women is creating the better world. So I think three keywords we should pay attention are participation, empowerment, opportunity. Participation, more women need to be involved in cooperatives. empowerment, more women need to empower. There is a tension between quantity and quality level, which comes first. I think this can be resolved not by choosing one or the other, but by addressing both at the same time. And last keyword, opportunity. More women should have access to the opportunities. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kim, for that insightful presentation. Our next presenter is Ms. Gyanu Podial from Nepal. Ms. Podial represents the National Cooperative Federation of Nepal in the Women's Committee, and she is the chairperson of the Janauthon Sakos Nepal. The Cooperative Act of 2017 in Nepal mandates 33% women representation in the board of cooperatives. Her presentation title is Women at the Decision-Making Table.
Thank you, Simranji. Good afternoon and namaste. Namaste all of you. Today, a very grateful day. Congratulations all of you. And I'm going to present women at the decision-making table discussion, the focusing. I am the ICA-AP Committee member, also the primary cooperative at Janauthon Sakos. My presentation focusing the 6 point Nepalese cooperative movement in brief, an overview of NCAP cooperative structure, Cooperative Act provision and its benefit to women. NCAP's role includes such provision, its implementation also. And then women in governance and decision making. So ideas sharing and some clips in my primary Sakos, Janauthon Sakos success story, one example. Now you know the Nepalese cooperative movement in Nepal. 7.4 million people, 1/4 total population are enrolled in cooperatives, and more than 56% cooperative members are women. That is the major achievement, and women where is 40% are in the leadership position. Because of the 33% provision in our government mandatory, so the board of director and other cooperative, that provision ensure the 33% on women, but the now in challenge is key position, leading position like a chairperson, vice chairperson, treasurer, secretary, more work still we are facing. And cooperatives have the largest network than any other sector in Nepal. And cooperatives are involved in diverse facets of the Nepal economy, including financial services, agriculture production, dairy, consumer service, and so on. Cooperatives are in the front, access to finance, entrepreneurship development, social inclusion, leadership development, poverty alleviation, and gender equality also we focusing. And then constitution. Our Constitution of Nepal has considered cooperative as one of the major pillars of economic development of Nepal. So 15 5-year plan of government Nepal priority develop the quality and sustainable cooperative for economic perspective. Now in Nepal is the complete 14th 5-year plan. Now we are going to 15th 5-year plan. So JERC also, gender equality, social and disability inclusion, this policy also the focus the government. And cooperative meet the national SDG target women participation and membership level SDG goal 5. And small introduction NCAP, because we are the Nepali friend, we are coming here 5%, 2% of NCAP, National Cooperative Federation of Nepal, and 3 colleagues, board of directors from
NCBL. And about NCAP is the 1993, this organization established APEX level of organization. And also ICA 1997 active member and leadership representation in ICA, ICA-AP and NEDAC, and running with the strategic NCAP 10 years strategic plan and business vision 3 years going on. And the cooperative movement structure and the member in Nepal, NCAP is the one apex level, then the National Cooperative Bank 1, and central level federation 18, and provincial level cooperative federation 11, and the district level cooperative union 311, and primary cooperative 31,373. A lot of primary cooperative is there. Cooperative Act's provision in Nepal is major achievement because the mandatory representation of 33% of women in cooperative board of directors, and major benefit secure the large number of women's participation in the board and encourage women to hold the leadership position and promote inclusive board, develop leadership skill and women cooperators. A lot of training organized the National Federation of Cooperative and good access to resource planning and decision making contribute to achieve the target SDG 5. Why Nepal government included 3 pillars, national economy pillar, 1 pillar public, and 2nd private, and 3rd cooperative. So the government of Nepal focusing the cooperative, also the 3 pillars, 3rd pillar of cooperative, given the priority of budget allocation and planning and strategy. In line with national policy and inclusion, continually lobbying, advocacy, and mainstream women in the decision making, and so we focusing the sustainable development. So the NCAP also include this cause, continue the raising the voice to at least 33% women representation in the board of directors. But the 33% ensure, but difficult to keep position like women's cooperative is easy to count, but the mixed cooperative, how to promote the leadership in the chairperson and vice chairperson key position. So we always focusing that regular lobby and advocacy is the major task. Organize various workshop program and women inclusion, and continuously include issue of women empowerment NCAP activities. How NCAP ensure its implementation? Cooperative, a lot of cooperatives in Nepal, so NCAP focusing the monitoring, cooperatives plan and policy, and collecting data of members' organization, because we have a lack of disaggregated data. So focusing the collecting data, disaggregated data, this continued tasks. NCAP also facilitates the cooperative from the board as per Cooperative Act and bylaw. So the gender policy, a lot of policy is the formation, reformation, and the new formation, also the lobby. And this is the major NCAP attempts already, I think already described, and the development of disseminate guideline gender equality and in cooperative, develop course vision 2030, targeting the women leadership, board and management, and annual program prioritize the women leadership and gender equality, women empowerment, also the social inclusion, capacity building, and also improve the livelihood, also the income generation program, entrepreneurship, and role of cooperative, how to poverty reduction. This is the task. And lastly, we governance of decision making. Why women's leading organizations? So more transparency, more accountability, more accountability towards the member business service, and improving organizational government system, minimizing domestic violence, gender-based violence, and building confidence of women. We can do more and can do so self-confidence. Always we continue focus more productive program activities, children, age, disability, and elderly women. These types we have learning and some suggestion also. We given the this forum and the recommendations some strong and continue lobbying and advocacy with the stakeholder and women leadership and cooperative success story we disseminate and internalize gender-friendly policy and program, and we focusing implementation also because in Nepal a lot of policy, gender-focused policy, but problem is the implementation. So experience sharing program with major stakeholder and political parties and their cooperative department and lobby for such policy to be included all level and develop especially capacity building program and BOD management, these types and meaningful participation. And time is a little bit, but I participate here NCF and my primary organization in Janautan Sakos. Short time I will take because my Janautan Sakos primary Sakos organization, this is the 40,000 plus member is here. 3.40 billion total asset and the reserve fund is 0.28 billion. Now the focusing the member structure according to gender, 58% female and male 42%. In our board, I am the chairperson female and the secretary female, treasurer female, so 45% ensure in our board in Oman. And then the structure of staff, total staff 87%, 80% are female staff. So we encouraging the recruitment and advertisement focusing female, so 20% only male. So the CEO and manager level we going to on. International Women's Day various program now 25th anniversary celebration logo this year. We celebrate and disseminate and some visibility. ICA-AP Women's Committee program, we have conducted the training, capacity building, gender-based violence, a lot of program we have done, and the acknowledged and rewarded to women also. And my organization also received the ICA June Access Silver Award by OKU, and recently, last week, in Nepal, OKU from also Silver Award we received. Only 2 organizations from Nepal we received the Access Award, and our organization also agriculture ambulance during the COVID-19 because the 42 million vegetable we sell the farmer, so bridge the Sakos farmer to customer. These types of we have done and acknowledge our minister also the awarded, and the presidential award by government of Nepal, former president Vidya Devi Bhandari and now President Ramchandra Paudel also recognize our work. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gyanu, for your very informative and encouraging presentation, and many congratulations on all the laurels that your cooperative has received by the President. In 2013, 10 years back, the Cooperative Development Authority, CDA, in the Philippines had come out with guidelines on mainstreaming gender and development, or GAD, in cooperatives. These guidelines mandate that cooperatives to promote gender equality and institutionalize GAD in policies and programs. I now invite Ms. Hermes G. Vergara, the Gender and Development Committee Chairperson and Board Member at NATCO in the Philippines, to share more about this initiative. Her presentation title is Mainstreaming Gender and Development in Cooperatives.
Mabuhay Good day, fellow cooperators and gender equality advocates. It is with immense pleasure and honor that I'm given this chance to speak to you today as we celebrate a milestone. The 25th anniversary of the ICA-AP Women's Committee is truly a momentous occasion commemorating a quarter century of unwavering dedication, tireless efforts, and remarkable achievements in achieving gender equality and women's empowerment within the cooperative movement across the Asia-Pacific region. As we gather here to reflect on the incredible journey of the Women's Committee, let us applaud the remarkable progress made and renew our commitment to forging a more inclusive and equitable cooperative sector. Allow me now to share with you a short overview of the National Confederation of Cooperatives, or NATCO. The NATCO Gender and Development Guidelines, and how the NATCO GAD program has positively impacted women cooperators in the Philippines. I will also discuss the essential role of the GAD representative to the board, the progress reported to the Cooperative Development Authority, and touch upon a successful intervention in the GAD program. The National Confederation of Cooperatives, better known as NATCO, is a national federation that represents and supports cooperative enterprises in the Philippines. With more than 904 cooperatives and 7.4 million individuals as its members, NATCO aims to empower its member cooperators and promote socio-economic development through the cooperative principles. Within NATCO, the GAD program, or the Gender and Development Program, holds great significance. The NATCO GAD program serves as a framework for ensuring gender equality and women's empowerment within the cooperative sector. These guidelines are generally adopted from the Cooperative Development Authority set of guidelines which promote the integration of gender into all aspects of the cooperative's operations and development, allowing for more inclusive and sustainable growth. The NATCO GAD program began around the 1990s and has since then promoted more equitable conditions for women cooperative members. The said program is a work in progress, focusing on mainstreaming gender equality through cooperatives. One example is integrating gender in the training and education of cooperative members by ensuring that cooperative members not just learn developmental skills, but are also able to integrate the values of equality and inclusivity in their decision-making. There have been modules for cooperative officers that have been designed specifically targeting these values and highlight ways where the cooperative leaders can apply their learnings. Now let's explore how the NATCO GAD program has specifically benefited women cooperators in the Philippines. The program has helped enhance the active participation of women within cooperatives, giving them a voice and a platform to contribute effectively. Through capacity building initiatives, women have been provided with the necessary skills and knowledge to lead and manage cooperatives. This has not only empowered them, but has also contributed to the overall success and progress of these cooperatives. Furthermore, because of the NATCO GAD program, women held more leadership positions in the cooperative. Historically, men executives dominated board of directors posts. The leadership positions are balanced as a result of the persistent campaign for inclusive and gender-responsive governance of the GAD program. NATCO's GAD program also focuses on specific interventions to address the unique challenges faced by women cooperators. It includes educational workshops and training programs for women, enabling them to acquire financial literacy, entrepreneurial skills, and leadership abilities. By equipping women cooperators with these essential tools, the GAD program breaks down barriers and creates opportunities for their personal and professional growth. To ensure the comprehensive implementation of the GAD program, NATCO appoints a GAD representative to the board. This representative plays a crucial role in advocating for gender mainstreaming monitoring the implementation of GAD guidelines, and ensuring the inclusion of women's perspectives in decision-making processes. The GAD representative acts as a bridge between cooperatives and NATCO to promote and address the concerns and needs of women cooperators. Led by the GAD representative, who is the GAD committee chairperson, the GAD committee, together with the GAD unit of NATCO, play a vital role in supporting and implementing the GAD program, making certain that the goals set are attained. They focus on developing strategies, administering gender-responsive programs and projects, and ensuring that women's rights and needs are integrated into all aspects of the cooperative movement, fostering equality, diversity, and inclusivity. One giant leap was taken when the GAD committee lobbied for the 5% Cooperative Education and Training Fund as the GAD Fund. This resolution has been approved by the General Assembly to be adopted by the members of NATCO. This provided the GAD program with steady support to implement its programs. The NATCO's commitment to transparency extends beyond internal measures. The organization regularly reports its progress under the GAD program to the Cooperative Development Authority, which is the regulatory body of cooperatives in the Philippines. And this progress is further monitored through the use of the tool for assessing progress of gender equality in cooperatives, called Memorandum Circular 2017-04, which is also supplemental to Memorandum Circular 2013-2022, which is the gender mainstreaming. By doing so, NATCO not only remains accountable, but also contributes to the larger goal of promoting gender equality and women's empowerment across the cooperative sector. Finally, let's discuss one successful and important intervention made by the NATCO GAD program. The National Confederation of Cooperatives, the Philippine Commission on Women, the Department of Trade and Industry, and the Government of Canada collaborated in the Great Women Project 2, a private initiative that aimed to increase the financial literacy and business finance knowledge of women entrepreneurs in the Philippines. Since October 2019, 72 women entrepreneurs have received training in basic bookkeeping and accounting terminology through lectures and workshops. In order to increase competitiveness, sustainability, and entrepreneurial management capabilities, NATCO also offered advanced training in grassroots entrepreneurship, financial resiliency, business continuity planning, internal control, and inventory management. Participants were able to maintain, support, and expand their businesses throughout the COVID crisis, highlighting the value of having a plan in place. Elizabeth Aragao and Agnes Querubin, two strong Filipino women, were able to create and sustain their successful businesses, attain financial independence, help reduce poverty, break down barriers, and inspire and empower others. NATCO is committed to mainstreaming gender equality and empowering women through cooperatives because it believes that women are key agents of change and development, and that providing them with opportunities and support, they can contribute to building a better society. Some other programs that have been instrumental in extending what NATCO can do were the initiative with the women deprived of liberty in the Bureau of Corrections in Rizal. By supporting the perfume-making industry that they started. While they are in jail, the women learn a skill, make their time more productive, and provide some support to their families. The program also gives them hope for a productive future through entrepreneurship. Another program was the collaboration with USAID and DTI Code, connecting women entrepreneurs to the digital economy. In this program, NATCO provided a digital marketing training program to train qualified women entrepreneurs to become effective online sellers. Through this program, NATCO helped grow a community of women entrepreneurs through success stories and was able to help launch an integrated campaign to build private partners and create a digital ecosystem of women entrepreneurs. Finally, there was the Itaas ang Pinay MSMEs program, where NATCO helped women entrepreneurs by providing them with training, access to resources, and mentoring. These programs show how NATCO is dedicated to empowering women because it thinks that women are important forces of growth and change, and that giving them opportunity and assistance, they can help create a better future for all of us. It has been a long journey for NATCO and its GAD program, and the journey was not easy. In order to replicate these interventions and programs, other countries must start at the core and go back to the cooperative principles and let this guide you into what to do and how best to do things on your own cooperatives and confederations. Please allow me to take a line from our cooperative pledge. Alone I am weak, but with others I am strong. We are a cooperative, a federation. We are strong if we work together, and we are able to do all these things because we have genuine concern for each other. In conclusion, NATCO and its GAD program play a crucial role in fostering gender equality and women's empowerment within the Philippine cooperative sector. Through the implementation of GAD guidelines, women cooperators have benefited from capacity building initiatives, tailored interventions, and enhanced representation in decision-making processes. NATCO's commitment to progress and accountability is exhibited through regular reporting to CDA, and the success stories emerging from their interventions serve as inspiration for further advancement in the GAD program. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hermes, for explaining to us about your policy initiatives. Our next presenter is Ms. Preeti Patel, Vice Chairperson of the ICA Asia and Pacific Women's Committee. Ms. Patel is the Vice Chairperson of the Gujarat Mahila Credit Cooperative Society in India and represents the National Cooperative Union of India in our Women's Committee. Her presentation title is Addressing Gender-Based Violence Through Advocacy and Dialogue, in which she will outline the work of the Dispute Resolution Cell by her cooperative in Gujarat.
Good afternoon. I'm here to speak about the action that we are taking to stop violence on women and girls, especially our members. We truly believe that fundamental requirement of women is security. Only in a peaceful and secure environment can we truly contribute to ourselves, to our communities, to our nation, and to the world. So we are a very tiny women's cooperative society, credit cooperative, and this is our story. Our cooperative society is founded on women promoting and funding women businesses. We are one of the fastest growing society with 4 branches. We have expanded in 3 years and a membership of from 6,000 to 16,000 members. Some of the programs that we have, women entrepreneurship, microfinance, different kinds of loans, training and awareness, marketing support for women enterprises. And the one that I'm speaking about is a domestic and social dispute resolution program that we have started in a cooperative since 2018. Short slide on our growth, especially in terms of members, and our turnover is at almost $1 million. At GMCC, we believe that any act of violence against women stems intrinsically from socio-cultural conflicts, conditioning and stereotyping of gender roles and responsibilities, poverty and lack of education and awareness adds fuel to this fire. So, in our society, we have taken it personally to ensure that a social structure is available to women, not only for their happy times, but also in the trying and difficult times for them. We provide socio-economic support in times of emergencies, sometimes medical, also to our members. And we try to, emphasize on the 7th guiding principle of cooperatives, which is concern for community, sustainable development of communities for cooperative success. So what is our dispute resolution cell? We call it GMCC Samadhan Punch. And the types of disputes that we address are marriage-related disputes, family disputes, property and land disputes, or neighbors dispute. So essentially, we are a only a women's cooperative. Majority, more than 76% of our members are women, and the balance who are men are usually the family members of our women members. So we believe that a courtroom is not an ideal place to settle hurt and emotional feelings, because most of the family disputes have a traumatic effect on the individuals. And the legal system does not address those emotions, which are mainly disappointment, anxiety, depression, grief, anger. So the family disputes and marriage disputes shouldn't be viewed as disputes aimed to debilitate or malign each other. The purpose of Samadhan Panch is to allow for an amicable resolution of such disputes between family members. And a family conflict is more than just a matter of law or facts. It is a matter of parties' feelings. And most of the judiciary system does not really address parties' feelings. It just addresses the laws and the fact and the provision that are available in the legal system. So here we are trying to be an intermediary and trying to amicably resolve disputes and which address the feelings of the parties. I will quickly run you through the dispute resolution process. Usually it starts with somebody who is an aggrieved person, who usually our member, who comes to us, and we take down a register, like a formal complaint from them as to what the matter is, and then we discuss the entire situation. Then we call the person who is, the second party, and then we conduct this entire series of dialogues. We bring in social leaders, we bring in parties who are involved in this dispute or who can, help to solve it, or who are influencers in some way. And this entire process, back and forth, we have lots of series of discussions, and it goes on for about, we give it a time of 2 months. And in our experience, most of the cases, about 65% of the cases are solved with zero recurrence. And if the cases do not get solved, then they always have an option to go to the law enforcement or to the judiciary system. There's a couple of cases that I would like to give you as an example. These have been addressed by us. So there is a case of a property dispute which was between a brother and a sister. The brother, they were all living together, as is the system in our country with parents. So the brother transferred all the property into his name and evicted the parents and the sister. And this was a very difficult situation, and the sister was the member with us. She came to us, and we tried all kinds of investigations. We did all the detailing. We brought in the neighbors, the relatives, etc. And then finally we were convincing the brother why he did that. But the basic issue was that the wife of the brother and the parents were not getting along, and it was a difficult situation to continue. So in that case, he said that I keep all the property and I look after business, and everybody just goes and fends for themselves. But we ensured that he relents to an amicable solution. We also said that if he does not, then the legal system provides equal rights for the sister as well. And finally, we were able to solve this case with negotiations and amicable solution. And the brother then transferred half of the property to the sister's name. The second, of course, is a case of a family dispute where husband and wife were married in a normal social system. The wife is qualified and educated, and she would like to work, but the in-laws were not allowing that, and they were very suspicious of her moving out of the house to work. And this was also, the husband was not of the nature that allowing the wife to work. So we brought in again the social leaders and neighbors, etc., and we did a lot of convincing. and we noticed that the suspicious nature of the parents couldn't be addressed. So the husband and my wife moved to another home, and the wife started working, and then things step by step realized. So I would like to bring about, I have highlighted something called the husband allowed wife to work. That is something that all of us really need to change sitting in this room, because, sorry. I think I will bring into the synopsis. Oops, sorry. Our learnings from the GMCC Samadhan Punch. Disputes and violence usually emanate from lack of communication, clarity of responsibilities, economic hardships, inadequate awareness, and compelling pressures of socio-economic success, as all of us are here today in a rat race. Most of the disputes are easily resolvable by open dialogue and counseling. Local social leaders play a very important role, as they are role models and influencers of behavior. There is a great time and cost savings for both the disputed parties. This also unburdens the law and order and judicial system. Our objective is to maintain the family unit. Normally, when we go into the judiciary process, the family unit is torn apart. So the focus is that we maintain the family unit and we maintain a social order. Also, we believe happy home is a prosperous home. So I recommend that most of the women cooperatives especially should have some sort of a dispute resolution mechanism where the women members feel that there is a secure environment and there is somebody, a social group which backs me and helps me in my dire circumstances. This will achieve decrease in cases of violence, increase economic output to its members, provide enhanced networking amongst the cooperative members, and also the management of the cooperative will have a pulse on which way the development and growth should happen. And lastly, alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Patel, for highlighting the importance of dialogue to address disputes in a peaceful manner and addressing gender-based violence through advocacy. In the next segment, we have presentations that have an outlook towards a brighter future and involving the next generation of young women in the cooperative sector. Our first speaker in this segment is Ms. Machiko Kubo. Ms. Kubo is the president of the National Council of JA Women's Associations. JA means Japanese Agricultural Cooperatives. Ms. Kubo's presentation title is Priority Areas and Potential Interventions for Women Farmers in Japanese Agricultural Cooperatives.
皆様、こんにちは。
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for inviting me to this auspicious occasion of 25th anniversary of the ICA-AP Women's Committee. It gives me great pleasure to be able to speak to you on this auspicious occasion, but my heart is beating fast. I am the president of National Council of JA Women's Associations. My name is Machiko Kubo. What I want to convey to you today, there are three things. One, Japanese agriculture is mainly based on family farming. Second point, what is JA Women's Association? Third point, activities of JA Women's Association and challenges. First, about the Japanese agriculture, it's mainly based on family operation. The total number of agricultural management entities in Japan is 975,000, of which 935,000 are family management entities, 96% of the total. However, the family farming is facing challenges because of the aging and the depopulation of the farming population. In 1990, there used to be 4.8 million farmers. Now 1.68 million is the number. That is, during the 30 years, 65% decrease was observed. Average age at 68 years old, which is very aged. The number of women farmers for co-farming, 40.4%. That means that women accounts for a large portion of the core farming activities. The National Council of JA Women's Association, this is based on the primary and agricultural cooperative, not only women farmers, but also non-farmers can become member. Before World War II, there was this industrial cooperative Fujinkai, which was the former version of our organization. But with the establishment of JA, our JA Women's Association was brought into being. Rural women faced with a very severe environment, and in order to solve the daily challenges, that's the common aspiration for all women. Status of women and right of women should be improved, and the living standard should be improved, and various women's associations were born. However, in 1948, the number of members reached the peak at 3.4 million, but there's a decline of women farmers with the aging of the population. The number now is 427.252. That's the number of women farmers now. I can show you a graph to show the change in the number of members here. For over 70 years of history, improvement of the livelihood and economic and social status improvement and making life more fulfilling, we have achieved so much. In 1980s, there's a liberalization of the agricultural produce and dairy products, and the safety of such imported products were questioned, and the women workers visited Yokohama port for inspection in 2010s. This theme of education of agriculture and food and development of the next generation's leaders and the contribution to the local community started to become more active. In 2020s, under the UN SDGs, we started the study meetings, and we are increasing the number of study meetings to prevent disasters. Where I live in Japan, in the Japanese archipelago, at the center of the Japanese archipelago, it's called Nagano Prefecture, and I belong to JA Shinshu Ueda. Various varieties of food, agricultural food, are being produced here, as you can see here. In 2019, there was this Typhoon 19, which attacked Nagano Prefecture, which caused large-scale damages. And then, first, as a women association, we tried to think what we can do. We contacted the affected area. They said, we need towels, more towels, because dirty things can be wiped out and then can be thrown away. So towels first, they said. So at Nagano Prefecture, there are 14 JA women's associations, and we called on them to cooperate, and then we could collect 37,000 towels. And we felt the importance of helping each other. And the activities of Nagano Prefectural Council of JA Women's Association 4 years ago, because of the COVID-19, the farmers are facing difficulties. Nagano Prefecture produces a lot of flowers, and youth divisions and women's associations work together to support the producing areas. In front of the Nagano stations, we try to distribute the flowers and milk to people. Activities of JA Shinshu Ueda Women's Association. We try to focus on farming and food. Utilizing the locally produced produce, we open cooking classes. During the COVID-19, we couldn't hold them, but recently we are restarting these classrooms in order to increase the food self-sufficiencies and towards the next generation, to children. We try to give education for farming, agriculture, and food, and we try to open the cooking classes to inherit the traditional food. Oyaki is a soul food of Japan. We try to knead the flour to make this oyaki delicacies together with children. Well, people wanted to gather together, and we set up the groups depending on the purposes, such as handicraft or horticulture. And then we have to be healthy to start with. So we do hold the health promotion classes in Nordic walking class. We try to find new places to visit in the local communities, and we collect garbages as well for environmental purpose. And we actively participate in JA management. Every year we hold exchange meeting with JA officials and staff. And we have this meeting with the chairpersons of the JA and all the women directors, and we encourage each other through thick and thin. This is the JA Group's initiative for women's participation in JA management. The number of officials at JA is about 10%, and our target of 30% of regular members and general representatives 15%, and directors 15% or more. So we try to achieve higher goals for women's engagement. Challenges and visions of JA Women's Association. With the aging of the population, there's a decrease in the number of members. What can we do? We try to develop attractive activities. We have many plans. The aging of the members is proceeding. We try to fix a mandatory retirement age for officials. And we try to establish young wives organizations to bring in youth. After COVID-19, post-COVID-19, because of the we try to utilize the cell phones and social media to disseminate information. Our JA Women's Association, according to the platform, we try to work harder to achieve our goal. Thank you very much for your attention.
Arigato gozaimasu, Ms. Kubo. Thank you very much for sharing with us the situation of women's involvement in the agricultural cooperatives in Japan and your interventions to involve young women in the cooperative sector. The national cooperative movement in Malaysia, ANCASA, plays an important role in making youth aware about cooperatives and train them by promoting school and university cooperatives in Malaysia. Our last presenter today is Ms. Haja Nurizan Binti Abdul Latif from the Women's Committee at ANCASA. In her presentation, she will discuss the importance and ways to involve youth in the cooperative sector. Her presentation title is How to Involve Young Girls and Women in the Cooperative Sector and Prepare Them to Become Future Leaders. She has joined us online on Zoom.
Thank you, Ms. Simran. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to the respected Ms. Chitose Arai, the chairperson of ICA-AP Committee of Women, also the Vice President of Japanese Consumers Cooperative Union, Ms. Ishikawa, all the Women's Committee members of ICA-AP, and all the participants who are able to attend to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the establishment of the Women's Committee at the ICA-AP level. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present the topic on female involvement in the cooperative sector and how to prepare them to become future leaders. So when we say female, we refer to young girls and women. I will cover this title based on the following subheadings or contents: overview of Angkasa, school and university cooperative in Malaysia, how school and cooperative university cooperative help attract youth to the cooperative sector, roles of Angkasa in developing cooperative awareness among young girls and women, intervention made by Angkasa to enhance leadership potential and skills, important roles played by women who joins cooperative, youth involvement in cooperative. Before I go any further, I would like to give a brief overview of Angkasa, which is the apex body representing cooperative in Malaysia. I believe there are still many of us here do not know about Angkasa. Angkasa was registered on 12 May 1971 and it started the activity with training and education to cooperative members in Malaysia. In 1977, Angkasa made the second activity, which is the salary deduction system for government servants. Angkasa also received certified recognition in international standardization for organization, or ISO, starting from 2004 until now from Standard and Industrial Research Institute of Malaysia, or SIRIM. In 2018, Angkasa has developed Angkasa Strategic Plan from 2017 to 2050. So we still have 27 years to implement the plan. And please visit Angkasa website for further info about this. Well, as an apex body, on 23rd May 1996, the government of Malaysia had gazetted Angkasa as the apex body. Angkasa membership as in August 2023 is 10,839, and Angkasa involves in Asian Cooperative Organization, or ACO, and at International Cooperative Alliance. And our president, Dr. Abdul Fattah Abdullah, is the chairman of Cooperative Organization, Asian Cooperative Organization, or ACO. Angkasa main roles as an apex body are unite and represent cooperative in Malaysia at a national and international level, stimulate and develop cooperative business, increase understanding and practices of pure cooperative values and principles, align which recognize cooperative as a tool for economic and social development of the community. Angkasa plays an important role in developing a cooperative in Malaysia through its educational program, starting at school and university cooperative level. These courses and guidance programs are implemented through a specific division, namely the School Division and Youth Section created by Angkasa, to ensure that the programs run smoothly and in orderly manner. What is meant by school cooperative and university cooperative? A school cooperative is a cooperative established in a school compound or school area with membership consisting of students, teachers, and school staff. For students, the membership age is 12 years and above. The main purpose of establishing schools cooperatives are to provide exposure and experience of cooperative activities among students to become potential adult cooperators who are capable of handling cooperative activities. To educate, train, and gain experience, as well as to ensure that students are interested in cooperative activities, entrepreneurial, and leadership, and to provide wide range of services and needs of school citizens. What is meant by university cooperative? Established in universities and higher institutions throughout Malaysia, which are categorized as adult cooperative and supported by the membership in the likes of university students, lecturers, alumni, and university staff. Membership age is 18 years and above. The main purpose of its establishment are to give space and opportunity to students to get involved in cooperative activities and management, to produce cooperative entrepreneurs when they are graduated from university. How do school and university cooperative help attract youth to join cooperative sectors? In order to empower schools cooperative, Angkasa has developed a special module named Cooperative Identity with its main goal to instill, to create awareness, to understand the definition, values, and principles of cooperative. For cooperative teachers, they need to undergo courses related to schools cooperative to ensure that they understand the concept and values of cooperative and are able to convey them to all students. Angkasa also introduces school cooperative day celebration, where all the students will be involved in the school cooperative celebration, which also hold an award giving ceremony for cooperators who are actively involved in the cooperative movement at school. While at national level, Angkasa introduces School Cooperative Excellence Award, which recognizes the achievement of school cooperative. Youth Entrepreneur Strive for Success, YES, which was introduced by SKM, or Cooperative Commission of Malaysia, Speech Competition, and several others. This is one way to attract the youth to get involved with all the cooperative activities. At university cooperative level, several agencies related to cooperative, including Angkasa, has organized the High Performing Student Cooperative, or HYPER, or Pioneer Entrepreneur Cooperative Competition in 1917, which involved practical business exposure activities and as a platform to develop products and services in cooperative entrepreneurship. While at the level of Malaysian government, the recognition of cooperative as the third largest contributor to the country's GDP was further strengthened with the establishment of the Malaysian Cooperative Entrepreneurship University, or UKKM, on 28 March 2022. This university is owned by the Malaysian Cooperative Institute. To begin with, UKKM offers 5 study programs as follows: Diploma in Cooperative Entrepreneurship, Diploma in Cooperative Management, Bachelor of Cooperative Management, Bachelor of Business Management or Cooperative Management, Bachelor's Degree Cooperative Entrepreneurship, Master of Business Management or Cooperative Management. How does Angkasa engage young girls and women to help them become aware of cooperative and build their knowledge and capacity. In relation to this matter, I would like to share that ANCASA focuses on the 5th cooperative principles, which is to provide education, training, and information. This is done by giving courses and guidance on cooperative awareness using special module called cooperative identity, which I've already mentioned just now. In 2022 alone, a total of 6,414 female youths have received courses and guidance from this program, have undergone the program. I would like to draw your attention to a women's cooperative led by a group of young women between the ages of 35 to 43 who have directly benefited from the programs implemented by ANCASA over the past decade. Ko-Putri or Koperasi Putri Terbilang was registered on March 9, 2006 with a membership of 100 people. At present, its membership has reached 16,358 with a turnover of ringgit Malaysia 11 million or 11 million ringgit Malaysia. This cooperative has been recognized by SKM or Cooperative Commission of Malaysia and is ranked 32 among the best 100 cooperatives in Malaysia for 2021 and 2022. Ko-Putri activities are giving credit facilities to their members, kindergarten and childcare center, real estate investment and properties. Let's get to know the chairperson, Ms. Hajah Sharifah Aminah Said Mohsin, a graduate from University Pertanian Malaysia and has been the chairperson for Ko-Putri at the age of 24 since the cooperative was established until now. She completed the childhood care course, women's leadership and workshop, and also cooperative administration and management workshop, as well as several business-related programs organized by ANCASA. Something special about this woman, she and the cooperative secretary and treasurer give their full commitment to Ko-Putri. Here I will share some pictures about Ko-Putri, and inshallah she will be our upcoming women's leader. What is the important role of... Okay, we share some pictures about Ko-Putri. This is part of the activities that they are doing right now. This is our visit to their previous recently. Okay. What is the important role of women as staff in cooperative? Women play an important role as staff in realizing the goals of the cooperative by using all knowledge, skills, experience, and expertise to optimize the productivity of the cooperative. Whether we realize it or not, women are actually the backbone and driving force to the success of a cooperative. Why is it important to involve youth in cooperative? Youth involvement in the cooperative movement is very important to ensure that cooperative remain as a vehicle for national economic development at present and in the future. The provision of a strong young line embodying the concept and principle of cooperative is important in preserving the cooperative movement. So for the recommendation, way forward for the next 25 years, I would like to suggest the following. First, cooperative entrepreneurship is made as one of the subjects in the national education system that is taught at the secondary level up to the university level. In Malaysian context, our Ministry of Education has introduced the topic of cooperative taught in the subject of business as an elective subject in Form 4 and Form 5. Secondly, create a policy related to the involvement of 30% of young women in the ranks of the board of directors of cooperative to provide a line of young women in the leadership of women's cooperative and adult cooperatives in general. And then we can be proud of Nepal, which has already reached 33% of women's participation in their highest management level. And we should follow through. And then the third one, we should suggest to our government the establishment of cooperative entrepreneurship universities in all regional countries. So as a conclusion, the involvement of women in cooperative is very crucial to protect their interests and needs, especially in their economic and social life balance. Women in cooperative can give more vividness to the management and administration of cooperative. Meanwhile, early cooperative cognitive content for young girls is necessary so that they will get knowledge and guidance to lead cooperative in the future. And women play an important role in enhancing the capacity of cooperative and providing services to its members. It led to the empowerment of women leadership in cooperatives in Asia Pacific. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Noorizan, for showcasing the example of young women cooperatives in Malaysia and sharing with us the recommendations of promoting gender equality in the cooperative movement for a brighter future. We will now open the floor for discussion. First, we would like to invite committee members and upcoming women leaders who are present with us today in the room and also online to share their comments, initiatives in their organizations on gender equality or women's empowerment, or their views on the future actions that our committee could take. I would like to first request Ms. Hani Daba from 1CISP Philippines to please share her comments. We will be sharing the microphone with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mabuhay. So, first of all, I'd like to thank the 6 presenters who have stellar presentations and sharing with us the best practices on how to address women issues, whether it's gender inequality or violence against women and the other concerns that we face every day. I also took note that in all of the 6 presentations, it is important that the buy-in is not just from our sector, the cooperative sector, but we need the other agencies. We need the buy-in of our government. We need political will. We need also the private sector to join in our cause. Now, I also have a question for Ms. Priti Patel. I'm quite interested with the program that you have presented to us. Is it sanctioned by the government? And if so, if a dispute is somewhat about violence or it's has caused hostility among the parties, is there some sort of protection given to the aggrieved party, or for instance for the woman? Is there some sort of assistance or protection given by the government?
So this program that we run is completely voluntary. by our members and some of our directors. We have, of course, a qualified legal person present on the dispute resolution team. It is not sanctioned by the government. It is actually by the free will that the aggrieved person, somebody who is our member, comes to us and we help them. Just like we help them in their businesses or in any of their social situations as a network, this is how we help them if there is an incidence of violence or dispute. And this is purely voluntary from all sides. Yes, we cannot offer them law and order or such kind of solutions like what the law and order can offer, protection or a legal system. We just offer them, as you say, advice and a social security structure.
Thank you very much, Ms. Patel and Ms. Honey. Now we have Ms. Molly Kendall, who represents the Business Council of Cooperatives and Mutuals in Australia. Ms. Molly, if you can hear us.
I can hear you. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to join you here today. What wonderful presentations. So I'm Molly Kendall and I work for the Cooperative Federation. I'm here as nominated by the Business Council of Cooperatives and Mutuals, so we're here in Australia. And I'd like to say happy birthday to the 25th birthday. Congratulations of the committee. And my observations have been that the original goal of the committee was networking and mentorship, and to us here in Australia they still apply. They're very important. And so here in Australia similar problems have been raised in many countries that are presenting today. In Australia, women who are over 55 are at greater risk of homelessness, and that's a strong cause of cooperatives being formed here in Australia. Also, we have women who are paid less when they're in the care industries, the traditionally female industries, so home care, child care and cleaning. These are the perfect scenarios for coming together to form a co-op, getting better buy-in and better conditions for women. But unfortunately here in Australia this sector isn't as strong and well recognised as some of the countries that are presenting today, so a lot of people haven't heard of this word cooperative. So it's very important to us having these moments where we can connect with the global family and really feel a part of that connection. So that's what's important to us, is raising awareness of cooperatives and why they're important. At a recent gathering of co-ops here in Australia, we had the idea of sister cooperatives, so forming a bond with a cooperative overseas and really solidifying those connections. So I'd love to see that happen. In terms of what the committee could do, my colleague Claire Fountain from BCCM and I were talking about this earlier, and we said to include women more in cooperatives, we think you need to identify who needs to be at the table and invite them. So thank you for that. And also identify the barriers that are stopping women from engaging in cooperatives and funding those barriers, so investing funding into those areas. The other important thing is sharing ideas. So thank you so much for sharing all these wonderful initiatives that you have in your countries for cooperatives. We're very jealous and something we aspire to here in Australia. So you're doing an excellent job of the 5th cooperative principle, education, training and information. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Molly, for your kind words and comments. The floor is now open for all the participants on site as well as online. So if anybody who is present here in the room would like to share a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand. Also the participants on Zoom, if you have any comment or question, you may raise your hand on Zoom. and or leave your comment in the chat box. Okay. So in the chat box we have a question, which is for Ms. Podial specifically. One of the participants from Australia has asked, I wonder if this kind of regulation, which is 33% reservation of women, I wonder if this kind of regulation is there for other enterprises as well in Nepal. That's the first question, if you would like to answer.
Thank you for your question. In Nepal, 33% provision in the Cooperative Act 2017, also provision all level cooperative BOD in the 33%, also enterprise and all level political parties and some key position and board of director and organization, also women participation 33% mandatory. And some problem is the implementation, but the monitoring, evaluation and regular advocacy will be needed, but the provision is 33% all level. That is our provision.
Yes. Is it for other kinds of business enterprises as well? Okay.
Yeah, as well.
Then in line with this question, there is one more question, which is, are there any other countries, especially among the participants here, which have a similar provision mandated by the law or the constitution of reserving seats for women in cooperatives? Do we have any other example?
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Madhavi Vipradas from India, IFCO. So in our country, there is no reservation as such, but my organization, IFCO, we have made a provision of 5% reservation on our general body for women. And we have reserved one position of a director on our board. So this has been done so moto. We have done ourselves. No government has directed us to do that, but our management has decided to do this. So I would like to take.
Thank you, Ms. Madhvi. Anybody in the room? Yes, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Ellen from the National Confederation of Cooperatives. So, congratulations first to the ICA Committee for celebrating your 25th anniversary. And it's not a question, but more on a comment. And of course, I'm really amazed with the presentation of Ms. Preeti Patel. So, like same with Ms. Sally on the Domestic and Social Dispute Resolution Program. So, I think since this is a request, not a question, so may we request, can we request, ma'am, that you could provide also your policy and procedure in implementing this program, the Domestic and Social Dispute Resolution Program, so we could adapt this in the Philippines. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ellen and Ms. Patel. We have one last question for the day, and that is, most of you have, this is an open question, so most of you have really great gender equality programs and activities. So the question is, who funds these programs? Okay, Ms. Hermes from NATCO.
Okay, thank you for NATCO and the member cooperatives of NATCO. As I've mentioned earlier, NATCO passed and approved a resolution that cooperatives should allocate 5% of the cooperative education and training fund to fund the GAD program, so that it won't be a reason that we can't continue or we can't implement the activities because we don't have funds. So 5% of the CETF, no, that's allocation for the net surplus of the cooperative will be allocated to fund the GAD program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hermes. Any other country or cooperative which has which allocates dedicated funds for gender programs? If you would like to share. Okay.
In Nepal, gender focusing programs sometimes conducting the UN Women and ILO and other development organization is there some capacity building training. But the primary cooperative, a lot of cooperative, the provision of bylaws, 5% allocate the education fund and 5% is the community development fund. So we easily planning and the allocate fund for the gender mainstreaming, gender empowerment, and woman empowerment, and 16 days gender-based violence activities in the day celebration. This types program we are conducting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Podyal. So to wrap up the discussions today that we've had and the sessions, presentations that we've seen so far, there are a few key takeaways for our committee as well as everybody here in the room. The foremost is to continue with principle number 5, education, information and training. This is like the most important aspect, most important takeaway. The second is to continue advocating for reservation of seats for women at important tables, whether it's a primary cooperative or a apex level federation. We have to keep promoting reservation for women. The third is nothing is possible without money. So we have to allocate funds. We have to have gender responsive budgeting, which Ms. Ishikawa also mentioned in the morning. And we have to learn how to do gender responsive budgeting. That is third. And fourth is continue collecting gender disaggregated data and how and also analyze and assess how women and men contribute differently or in a similar fashion to the growth and development of the cooperative as well as the community at large. And fifth, I think, is keep in mind the new generation, because the sustainability of the cooperative movement depends largely on the continuous influx of new people as members, as employees, and we have to keep encouraging, incentivizing young people to join our movement so that we can grow bigger and bigger. So involving youth, young girls, young housewives, young women as members in the community, and that will come if we show them through practice what benefits cooperatives can offer them. So that has to come by helping each other, showing what kind of support we can give them at the grassroots level. These are a few key takeaways that we have learned from today's session on the presentation. But the list is not complete yet. There are many takeaways that I'm sure each one of you have that you would like to share with us. So please share with us later during the dinner time. But since we have come to the end of our program today, I would now like to invite the Vice Chairperson of our Women's Committee, Ms. Preeti Patel, to kindly give a closing address and vote of thanks.
Dear ICA-AP members, distinguished guests, all dear friends on site and online, good evening, konnichiwa, konbanwa, and namaste. Thanks to all of you, not only joining us here today, but also for making this symbolic and historic day possible. Today we are full of gratitude and joy to commemorate an important milestone, that is the 25th anniversary of ICA-AP Women's Committee, a journey marked by dedication, perseverance, and relentless pursuit of women empowerment. My heartfelt thanks to Ms. Shito Zarai, Chairperson of Women's Committee ICA-AP, and Team JCCU for organizing a truly wonderful and outstanding celebration. Your unwavering commitment and tireless efforts have made the 25th anniversary of ICA-AP a truly memorable celebration for all. To the members of ICA-AP, your enthusiasm and dedication have made this celebration a platform to inspire us to reach even greater heights. As we look back over the past 25 years, we are reminded of the countless challenges we have overcome, the milestones we have achieved, and the friendships that we have forged. It is a testament to the strength of our unity and the diversity of our talent that we stand here together today, stronger than ever. In closing, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to each and every one of you who contributed to this wonderful celebration, especially the interpreters and ICA-AP team. Your hard work and enthusiasm made this event a resounding success. As we move forward, let us carry on the spirit of unity and collaboration that has been demonstrated here today. Together, we will continue to build on this legacy of the past 25 years and pave way for an even brighter future for the ICA-AP Women Committee. The success of ICA-AP Women Committee can not only be measured by the number of programs, but by the impact it has had on the lives of real people. Let us today go back to our countries with greater resolve to make this impact for gender equality for brighter future and for the future, which is our common responsibility. Once again, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for gracing this historic occasion with your presence. Thank you, Duomo arigato gozaimasu, and dhanyavad.
Thank you very much, Ms. Patel. On behalf of the Women's Committee, thank you everyone for your active participation and joining us in our 25th anniversary celebration event today. This afternoon's program will be made available on YouTube from October 2nd. We will share the information by email with everybody. We hope that you will share it with your colleagues and cooperators who were unable to attend today. Thank you very much once again for your participation. And in the end, on behalf of the ICA Asia and Pacific Committee on Women and ICA Asia and Pacific, we would like to thank our host, the JCCU, and all the staff members who have worked very, very hard in bringing us together here and organizing a successful gathering to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Women's Committee. We are also very grateful to the interpreters of today's program. Thank you very much for your kind support and assistance. Arigato gozaimasu.